Let us know when we're live, Storm. Have a look at the sound check. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Can you talk?
Hello, Storm. 1, 2. 1, 2. Can you hear me? How's the sound, Storm? Storm working?
My voice might be too low for this.
We got sound.
Check.
We got sound. Sound check.
Oh, Keane joined. Bayside Security joined.
We got any sound happening?
Oh.
Not yet.
Hello, Kylie. Hello.
Okay, just a minute.
No sound there yet, Storm? Is that on the Facebook or the Instagram?
Instagram. Okay, Facebook's good.
Facebook good. We'll go Insta. Just check Insta. Make sure we've got sound happening. Sound. Is it because it's not?
Oh, music.
Sorry.
Is that our new intro? New Havenwood music intro.
That's a go. Bit of intro music. We should get that going, I reckon.
Oh, I don't know how to...
Yeah, we'll get...
People might expect to dance out there's music.
our Friday dance. Sorry, Facebook. We're just trying to get Instagram going. We're just got a couple of technical difficulties going on here. Has it got to be turned up on the Duvalaka? That's down. Yeah, that's up there now.
Okay, let me check it
Check
out.
that. Check. Sound check. Sound check. Do you want me to talk yet? Hello, Storm. Can you hear me?
Hang
Hello?
on. One second.
Hang on. We've got some sound issues here, so just bear with us. Pull it out and start again.
Uh-oh. Sorry,
Oh.
Facebook.
Huh?
I want back on me.
Is that on? Is that saying right?
It's not plugged in. Don't you want to plug it
Yeah,
in? Don't you want to plug it in?
No, it wasn't working. Okay, you good.
The speakers up there. Can you hear it now?
Yeah.
Yeah? So it doesn't need the microphone. There you go.
It's just not as loud, but that's...
So it's that. Right, okay. As long as you still hear it.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Sunday afternoon live. We've had a great day today. And actually, first and foremost, I'd like to introduce to my sidekick here, Stu.
I'm the clone. Rick's clone.
Yeah, when I was getting a bit flat out early in the year, last year, and I said to Shani, I just need to clone myself, you know. So anyway, I found this guy who was happy to be cloned, and that'll be Stu. So Stu, tell me a bit about yourself.
A bit about me. 41 years young. Happily married. Got 5 sons. Yes, that's right. 5 sons. 5 boys. 5 boys.
Ooh, damn.
4 of them over there having a swim at the moment with the other kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, came on with Havenwood, June last year, I think.
Yeah. Start off one day a week.
One day.
1 day a week to
Then we
start
thought
with.
2 days and 3 days.
The 4 days.
So
now what was it?
5 days. So.
Now it's 105 days. Well, actually, technically, it's 6 days if you count today.
Well, it's 6 days, yeah. Yeah, I'll give you
Yeah,
this
today.
one for free too.
Freebie, I like that.
Freebie, yeah.
Free's good.
Free's good. But yeah, if you don't know, I'm the sales and operations manager. So
Yeah.
I do everything except build,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
If something needs to be done, then
Yeah, and
I'll
also,
look to do
like
it.
Stu's on the go. Like he in our display site, he mows the lawns, he keeps all the gardens looking good. He does all the roundup, and then as soon as it hits 9 o'clock, we're into puts his white collar shirt on, and then we're into it.
we're on.
And the sales are all happening. Eh?
That's the one.
That's great.
So
Yeah.
what do we call it? Business at the front, and I don't have any party at the back though. Not like
Yeah,
you.
you don't have a mullet yet.
Got a bit of party
Maybe
going
one
on the
day
back,
you'll
yeah.
you get the mullet. Well, I got a new. We struck a deal on the extra day. I've got him, and we've got to get him a vehicle, a ute for the extra day. So of course I've pimped it up a bit. I've got a 5-post bull bar coming, and got some sign writing happening, and a new tray getting put on the
good.
back, mate.
That'll be good.
We're gonna just beef it up a bit.
Beef it up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're
mate.
getting back to our country roots. I'm a country fella by heart.
Yeah, that's
Live
it.
here on the coast, but
Yeah.
grew up not too far from where Rick grew up. After
Yeah.
what we discovered, so
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
out west,
A
good
lot
place to live.
of common ground, so which is awesome, you know. So, hey, listen, I hope everyone's had a great week. And if you've just joined us for the first time, what we like to do on a Sunday afternoon is answer any questions that you've had during the week. And also, and if you've got any questions whilst we're doing our live, make sure you bung them up on the Google here. Stu doesn't need glasses because I'm a bit older than Stu and a bit of a dinosaur, so that means I need glasses.
Look,
but Stu, if you can keep an eye on the screen, if you see something come up, mate,
Yep.
you can just rattle away. So
Done.
make sure you bung them questions up on the screen, and we'll try to answer those as well. And so we've had a heap of questions during the week, and we'll crack into those.
All right, first question. All right, Rick, do you build single level homes?
Sure do. We've actually probably obviously with a single level home, what that means is you've got to have the master bedroom downstairs. So we've got a few models that our Maverick model and our new Charlo model, which has the master bedroom downstairs. And of course, if there's no need for the lofts and the upper floor and you just want to keep it low profile, what that means is then we'll just do a single level with the master bedroom downstairs, which both those models have. And we're looking at actually in our next trailer order that's just gone in. One of the four will be an 11-metre trailer, so 3 metres wide,
3 meters.
11 metres long. Now, the reason we can't go any longer than 11 metres, this is purely because of legalities. Long story short, you can't build a trailer towable behind a vehicle, even though it's got to be 4.5 tonne, any longer than 12.5 metres. Now, that includes the drawbar. Okay, so you've got a 1.5 metres of drawbar. That means you can only build an 11-metre body of the home. So we've got one of those coming through. It's going to be based off our Charlo model, but it'll be 2 bedrooms downstairs. Obviously, bathroom, kitchen, lounge, dining, the whole rest of the show's all going to be on the ground floor. So looking forward to punching that out.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a head turner. Of course, it'll be low profile. It won't have the upstairs lofts. It'll just be all on the single level. So.
Oh, good one. Belinda, she said, hi, Stu and Rick. Hey, Belinda.
Hey, Belinda, how you going? Is that Belinda from South Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, g'day, Belinda.
Yes.
How's your tiny home going, Belinda?
Oh, she's loving it.
Loving it, yeah.
Always
Fantastic.
good emails, always good phone calls from Belinda.
And remember with Belinda's, Grillsy couldn't do that last 20 feet.
That's right. Yeah.
He got so close, he just travelled 1,500 k's.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't get it up that last little bit of a rise, So we had to sort of drop the tiny house off there, and Belinda the next day I think got a tractor in or whatever,
That's
just to push it up onto the actual pad itself. So
Loving it so much.
yeah,
Not living in it yet.
not living it yet.
Not
So
yet.
she's
closer.
she's pimping it up.
Pimping it up.
Pimping it up,
ready.
absolutely. Pimp my ride. Actually, we should start a show.
There we go.
Pimp my tiny
Pimp my
house.
tiny home.
Oh,
There we go. Who's watching? Who wants to jump on board and produce?
I tell you what, I reckon there's money in that. For the producers, not us. We're just going to build the homes.
Just
you know?
build a home. That's
Oh,
all right.
American Chopper do it.
There's a market there. Let's
There's
do it.
definitely got to be a
Let's
market.
do
Okay, sweet as.
All right, next question. How did your delivery go up to Scott's Head?
Oh yeah, that was huge. What a massive day. Well, as it turned out, that ended up being a 2-man delivery because the home itself, a couple of things, it was going to run overweight because a couple of client selections. It was a 7.8 metre tiny home, 3 metres wide, 2-storey. Had the gantry. It was based off our Jackson model. Okay, but the client requested to go for the polyurethane kitchen. Okay, now with polyurethane, what that means is the board is thicker. Okay, so it's a couple of mil extra, so it just added weight to the home. Combination of a heap of extra bifold doors, a double cafe window, all that stuff added, and heaps of extra windows, so it added a lot of weight to the home. So it ended up being a 2-man delivery. So Grill's our main man that does all the long hauls and the interstate stuff. We had to send Toby out with him on Friday.
His first trip.
That's his first trip. Yeah.
Not a bad
It was
place
so
to go.
funny because I had all the main men all standing around, all the main carpenters all standing around. I said, who wants to earn a few extra bucks this evening? And Kobe's jumped straight on. The other boys didn't even get a look in. But actually,
Early bird.
I think it's going to be great. Like, I'd love to send the staff on a trip, at least just to see what's involved and see the effort that actually Grillsy needs to go to when we deliver homes. So they're never easy.
No.
When you're humping a 3 metre wide home, and you got to get it onto a property, might be up and down gullies, bog, trees. There's so much that involved when you actually deliver tiny homes. I think the boys, they never actually got there because we had to leave after curfew. And it's a fairly long haul trip, 600 k's to get up there. But when you're towing a tiny home, it takes a couple of extra hours because of when you're driving those sort of distances. The truck driver's got logbooks, and you can only drive for 5 hours and 15 minutes straight. Then you've got to have a 15, actually I think it's 20-minute mandatory break. Now, what I've learnt is that mandatory break doesn't mean fueling up, because technically you're still working. So mandatory break means just sitting down doing nothing.
Right.
I learnt that, and it cost me a couple $100. Because, I learnt the hard way. So what it means because we come into the category of oversized load, our overall GVM is 16 tonnes, and then once you go above 12 tonne, I think it is. Once you go above 12 tonne, you've got to have logbooks. It's all about fatigue control. So I think it's great because the trucks that drive around the country, I mean, these semi-trailers, they're massive, and you need the drivers to be switched on, up to speed. Unless they've got two drivers, they can keep driving. But if you've only got the single driver, you've got to have 5 hours and 15 minutes. Bam, you've got to stop, otherwise you're going to get smashed. Yeah. I know.
What time do they get up there?
They go up there about 7 o'clock on the Friday evening, 6:30. Actually, they might have got to the site a little bit earlier, but what we had to do is disconnect the truck, hook up the tractor, and then tow the tiny home into the property, onto the pad, and then, of course, the sun is starting to drop, and the boys had so much to do. We had to put the deck and the awning back on. We had to put the decking on the deck, screw all that down. We had to put all the batteries back in for the solar setup, put all the drawers back in all the cabinets. There's so many things the boys had to do, and the client was there, met us there, and she helped out as well, so bugging the drawers back in. So everyone, played a role, but I haven't actually had a real detailed talk to the fellas, but they left at approximately 10 o'clock. They got back at 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. I got a text through from Rick, we're back safe and sound, dropped the truck at the yard. So that was gold, but that was a big 24 hours, 24 hours. So I think when it comes to tiny houses and tiny house delivery, building them is the easy part. Well, honestly, we do that in our sleep. Like that's the easy part. But the deliveries, it takes so much out of us. Yeah. I mean, that morning, Friday morning before the delivery, I was on site at 4 a.m. Just doing stuff, just getting it right, putting the flags on, putting the oversized sign, putting the lights on. There's so much to do.
There's a lot that goes into it.
A lot goes into it, but I don't sleep unless I've got it sorted, so because we've got to get it right, we've got to be roadworthy, we've got to meet all the requirements of the RMS, and make sure we're legal on the road, So a lot involved, So, but
I got there.
I got there safe and sound, and which is awesome, So
happy client.
Credit to Toby, our main one of our main carpenters, and also Grillsy, our main man on the driving. Mate, this guy's gold.
He is good.
He just loves to drive.
I reckon.
I reckon when it comes to driving and towing stuff, it's got to be in your blood or something. You just think, I'm going to drive today. I'm going to drive for 24 hours, and I don't care. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. So I tell you, there's not many people that can do it. So hats off to Grillsy.
He does a good job.
What a legend.
Yep. All right, next one. For your 10% discount expansion sale, can we buy prior and still get the discount?
Oh, now that's a bit of a curveball.
How generous is Rico feeling?
Oh, geez, I tell you what. Well, we've got 5 homes to sell, and I reckon if someone come on board and sort of said, "Hey, Rico, what do you reckon?" No doubt we'd sort of give it a nudge. I reckon we'd probably let it go if you wanted to come in early and beat the rush on the day, because I know there's a lot of people stacking up on the day, got to be there on the day.
Yes.
So I'm going to put it out in the public, because I don't want people to say, oh, you didn't tell us, Rick, and they're all sold or whatever. So if you do want to come in earlier, I just want to put on public record that I'm happy to offer that discount prior to the expansion sale.
Yeah,
okay?
which isn't far away. It's only about 2 weeks, isn't it?
It's only a couple of weeks away
Couple of
anyway.
weeks away.
So, but it's all about timing as well, finances for people and where they're at in their situation, you know. So I'm happy to run with that. So yeah.
Either way, it's going to be a good weekend.
It's going to be a great week. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Yeah, because a lot of people can't get out during the week because we're only open up during the week. Stu's got a life and a family and 5 boys.
Yeah.
And weekends, sport and church. That's what
Pretty
it
much.
does.
And then I'm back to work on Monday.
Back into it. So you've got a bit of a sideline, Stu. What's that? What are you doing on the side?
Church-wise?
Church. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Involved in the ministry and a bit of a preacher.
Yeah.
So,
Mate,
preaching the word and talking to people. And
This guy is gold, mate. I'll tell you what, if you weren't a Christian, you might as well be one. Go to church and listen to Stu. Increase church, mate. I'll tell you what. It's
good fun. You'll find me on YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to see his head too much, but maybe have something to listen to what I have to say. So
absolutely.
It's good. It's positive. It's encouraging.
Encouraging.
Life building.
Encouraging word. And, so in actual fact, truth be known, Shani said, it's so funny when we'd moved over to Increase and then Stu come on board and Shani said, you know, Rico, she said, I think this has got to be a real positive move because you've got a lot of rough edges and I reckon Stu's got to polish them off a bit.
Chip.
I tell you what, you might need a jackhammer to knock some of those edges off, mate. But, a bit rough around the edges, hey, but no, listen.
That's right. Iron sharpens iron.
That's good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, iron sharpens iron. Absolutely. Okay, what do we got there?
Well, what did Libby say? We will be there next weekend to check them out. Hey, Libby, you're coming over.
Oh, yeah,
that's
great.
exciting.
Oh, yeah, Libby's coming up from South Australia.
Yeah, I think it's South Australia.
Yeah. Awesome.
No, that'd be
Looking
good.
forward to you popping by, Libby.
Alrighty. Question 4. What are the benefits of refrigeration panel construction? Now, this is a good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. I've actually had this question quite a lot from potential people buying and looking into tiny homes. With the refrigeration panel, first and foremost, it's light. Okay, so it's not heavy. That enables us to build bigger homes. So we're not just 2.4 wide. We can go to the 3 metre wide. We can go 2-story high and really max out the volume of floor space in a tiny home. The other big thing is with refrigeration panel, it is a stable product, they call it. I think it's stable. Product's probably the wrong word. Stable material. What that means is as long as it's not on fire, there's no residue come off the actual panelling itself. So if you've got sinuses, you've got really bad what would you call it? Sinuses,
like hay fever,
allergies. That's probably more the word. If you've got allergies, the beauty of the refrigeration panel is, unless it's actually on fire, burning, there's no residue smells or odours come off the actual product itself. Okay, versus say timber that's got treatment for termites and whatever else, which is a valid thing to do, which has to be there, because even tiny houses can get infested by termites. But with any timber that's been impregnated with those chemicals, those are a live chemical. So what that means is the odours from those chemicals can still actually impregnate gyprock or plywood walls and still actually go through the walls. So we've actually had a few clients that do have those allergies that just said, you know what, we can't have those sort of odours in the air, you know, because it'll just go straight through the material. So that's the beauty of insulation panel. The other big thing is structurally, it's solid as a rock. You're not relying on bracing like metal strapping to actually stop your home from moving and whatnot. The actual product itself and the way we build horizontally with the panelling, each panel is like a big truss. So on a flat roof model, we've actually got 3 panels each side of the home, which actually, so that actually creates like so we've got 3 trusses on each side of the home. So structurally, it's a lot solider. Our homes don't twist or bend or warp when you're going across, because a lot of homes are going out in the bush,
Yeah.
you know, out in the country, across creeks and that sort of thing. So they're not going to twist and warp and carry on. So the other big thing with the panelling is the acoustic insulation that they actually provide.
Yeah.
Is huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, because we're on the highway, there where we have our display village and so many cars are
And the train on the other side.
Oh yeah, don't forget the train. But close the doors and the windows are closed, so it actually it cuts down the sound by. I mean, I'd go so far as to say at least 40%.
Yeah.
When you close the window, so because of the insulation qualities in the panelling,
Maybe
so.
there's a market for mobile music studios,
Ooh,
recording
mobile.
studio.
Oh yeah, mobile recording studios, or even people that are in town, right? In town, and the neighbour's having a whinge because he's on the drums and
Yeah.
stuff, you know. Hey, that's
Oh, there
something.
you go.
Hey,
Any teenagers out there
talk to
play
us
their
about
drums
that.
and
Hey, we'll
annoy
knock
their
something up
neighbours?
for you.
There
No
we
problem
go.
at all.
Stick
Yeah,
them inside a Tony.
Huge
Tony
market.
Esky. All right, next one. I'm 100% off grid with your home. Can I use the air conditioning at night?
Okay. I mean, obviously, 100% off grid means that she's got our solar package in the tiny home. So, and then you've got your inverter, your solar panels, your battery storage for night time. Now, if you're going to go with our standard inclusion with our solar package is the dry cell batteries. They're only going to give you about 2 amp hours of battery storage overnight. So if you're going to fire up your aircon, you've got to be ready to turn on your actual generator because you're going to run out of power real quick with your because obviously once the sun goes, the solar panels aren't charging your batteries, which means then you're relying upon battery storage. And if the sun's gone, you're going to really chew into your battery storage for overnight because you've got your fridge you've got to keep going and some lights and stuff, you know. So I would but if you upgrade to our lithium batteries, that's going to give you about an extra 5 to 6 amp hours of battery storage overnight. So that means you can probably, I reckon, easily fire up your aircon for 20 minutes to 30 minutes, no problem at all, and you still have enough storage overnight to keep your refrigerator going, okay? But bear in mind, and this is where the other beauty of the refrigeration panels is, once the sun's gone, juice up your aircon, you'll climate control the place in literally 10 to 15 minutes. That's all it's going to take. Just turn your aircon off, mate. Happy days. You've got your nice, comfortable temperature in your tiny home that you're after, okay? And then that's and you're good to go. But in saying that, most of our clients that go for our solar package go for the backup 9 kVA generator, which means then if you know you're going to be, say you want to cook a baked dinner at night time, okay? You've got your oven cranking, you've got guests coming over. I mean, I actually advise people to cook your baked dinner during the day when the sun's out, so the solar panels, the sun is actually doing the cooking. Yeah. Yeah, the sun's cooking.
You're not digging into your battery
You're
power.
not digging into your battery backup. That's right, Stu. You know, so. But in saying that, if you've got the generator, you pick up our optional extra of the 9 kVA generator. What that means is just crank it on. What's going to take a couple of hours to cook your baked dinner, and then that way you're not chewing into your battery storage, and your generator is going to do the cooking for you. And then once you finish cooking your baked dinner, turn the generator off, and your happy days. You're going to get through the night, no problem at all, with your existing storage in the batteries, you know. So you just got to be wise. And I think this is where just educating people, because when people live in town, they're used to just turn the power on, leave the lights on, turn the water on. But as soon as you start going off grid, man, if you've got no power, you got no water, you got no gas, you got no hot water. Like, there's so much involved. And what I actually, when I talk to our clients, what I like to say to them is document everything. So live for one day, have a 3-minute shower, see how much gas you use, see how long that is going to last you, see how much water you've used, check your tanks, your rainwater tanks. put a height stick in it, check how much water you've used over 2 or 3 days. So then you can actually start to work out what you can do and what you can't do. You know what I mean? Because the last thing you want to do is run out of water, run out of gas, run out of power. So it's really a mindset's got to change, and you got to work with it. I mean, it's a great life. It's a fantastic thing to do, but as soon as you work out the system, and then you just run with it. It's like you learn how to do stuff. You know what I mean? So which is awesome.
Yeah, Libby said, "Can you run on a generator only?"
Well, you can, Libby. You can run on a generator only, but it's going to cost you fuel. Okay, so the generators which we actually supplied, the 9 kVA Westinghouse generators, they'll run for about 48 hours on 1 tank of juice. But if you've got to have that going all the time, 1 tank of juice is like 20 litres. What's the price of petrol these days? It's not cheap. No. So it's not a cheap way to actually live, by living off a generator only rather than solar. Solar's, you've got an initial outlay with solar, and I don't want to oversell solar, because, I mean, if you've got access to power, it is still cheaper to actually use AC power. But if you're going off grid, you're out in the bush somewhere, solar is the way to go, for sure. And then your backup generator, what that does is just safeguard you with, it just means you're never going to run out of power, So, yeah.
Well, mate, I just got my power bill during the week.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what the boys are doing, but I was like, $600 for a quarter.
Oh,
like, what are you boys doing? I'm sure me as a dad, I thought it was just a joke. Yeah. But when I come home from work, all I do is walk around the house until I go to bed, turning lights off. Like, turn the lights off. I thought it was just a joke. Hey, it's actually real life.
This is gold, Stu, because only, I don't know, 3 or 4 lives ago, I spoke about this. I spoke about this. Kids, turn the lights off. Most of our lights, I've actually got sensor lights now. It costs a few extra bucks. Put sensor lights in, Stu.
That's it.
That way, there's no switch anyway. They can't turn nothing on. But showers, it actually polices your showers. I've got them set at like 3 minutes. Otherwise they're showering in the dark. And even in our house, I was going to just have single light globes everywhere in the house, but Shani wanted to bling it up a bit with like chandeliers and that. And like with the chandeliers, you've got 6 or 7 globes in the chandeliers. So when the kids leave these on at night time, it's like you got to wear sunglasses around the house. You got all these lights going on. So what I did, because I'm a bit of a tight ass, can I say that? But what I did, I went around and I unjigged all the, unscrewed all the globes, so only one light would come on. so at least if the kids leave the lights on, it's only one light. I went around the other night, and then what happened? The kid said, "Dad, there's something wrong with this chandelier. The lights aren't working." And then they worked it out, and they screwed all the globes back in. I walked around the other night. I had effectively 18 lights on. Oh. Are you kidding? And my meter on the electrical box is just redline. It's just going off,
Oh, you can give an update on your power bill when it comes through.
So, Stu, the moral to the story is don't put chandeliers in.
No, no chandeliers.
They cost a fortune.
Sorry, Beck.
No chandeliers, Beck.
Oh, dear. What have we got now? Can we upgrade your solar package?
For sure. Now, the upgrade of the solar package, that would include going from our dry cell batteries up to lithium batteries, okay? It's around about $2,000, a bit over about $2,400, I think, extra to go for the lithium batteries. But what that's going to give you is about 5 to 6 amp hours of extra storage overnight. That means you could probably nearly live without a generator. You know what I mean? So there's trade-offs here and there. Like it just depends which way you want to go. But yeah, the answer to that question is yes, you can upgrade to our solar package. But I mean, I've spoken about this before. The most economical way is to run with our standard package, potentially upgrading to our lithium batteries, but don't go for the extra solar panels and all the rest of it, because you're really blowing your budget. Just pick up the our Westinghouse generator, and that's going to make it foolproof when it comes to power.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the next question's still along solar, because they asked, my batteries have gone flat and inverter has turned off. So how do I restart the inverter?
Oh, wow. I tell you what, this is pretty serious stuff. Like, you could be out in the bush somewhere. Okay, now, we use 48-volt inverters. So, in other words, you've got to have 4 batteries, whether it be car batteries, dry cell batteries, or lithium batteries, 48 volts of power. And the inverters, once they get to a certain amount of voltage, I think it's about 42 volts, the inverter will just shut off. It's gone. It's dead. There's nothing happening. It's dead as a maggot, you know. So what that means, and you can't just start your generator up. Think, oh, I've got 9 kVA a generator, but the generator is only pushing out 240 volts. But the solar, the inverter is running off, is actually 48 volts, not 240 volts. So you've got to have to actually kickstart that generator, you've got to have a special system, which we're actually got to start to supply in our packages, which is a transformer. So you can start your generator, which will convert from 240 to 48 AC to 48 DC to be able to charge up your 4 batteries. Now, this is the equivalent of getting 4 car batteries all linked together in series to actually jumpstart your inverter. Now, that's hard yards. Now, we've just had this on the weekend. Our batteries, for a whole host of different reasons, didn't have the juice to actually start the inverter. So what I had to walk through with the client was to actually pick up 4, because it's very expensive to buy 240, and you can't even get 48-volt jump start kits. So we had to get 4 12-volt jump start kits, link them together in series, bam, juiced it up, happy days.
Off it goes.
Wow. So there's a lot. I'm learning stuff all the
You
time.
learn on the go.
But you need 48 volts to kickstart a 48-volt inverter. You can't just jump start it off your car, because that's only 12 volts.
So don't jumpstart it with your car.
No, it won't work.
It won't work.
We tried that as well. It did work.
All right, change of tact. If I choose a standard design with Havenwood, can I modify the kitchen?
Now, we've gone through this with a couple of clients. They thought, oh, I'm just going to sand it, but I want to change a few things in the kitchen. As soon as you change something with that kitchen, whether you're going for, say you're going to go to, say you want to put in, you want to put a wider fridge in. That means we've got to change the plans. That means I can't pre-order the kitchen. That means that our kitchen company has got to actually modify the plans. Now, what that does is, it's not because of us, but because of the kitchen company's hierarchy of jobs that they got. That means you've got to go into the queue then with every other client that they have to actually design your kitchen and modify the kitchen. So the reason we say our standard design is that I can pre-order the kitchens, so they're you can change the colour, you can change the bench top colour, no problem at all. We can just press a button and say, yep, order me this, here's the colour, done, no problem. But as soon as our kitchen supplier has got to modify the plans, what that does is really start to slow down the process, as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I've got a question in there from Libby.
Oh, Libby just said, I have my electricity bill down to $60 a month living alone.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah,
Well,
and you can do that because the whole principle of once you start to go off grid and start to live simply, you can really start to drop off those bills, and that's money in the bank. This is after tax money you got to pay your electricity bill with.
Yeah.
So if you can get that down, that's a good
I
thing.
might have to get solar on my house, I think.
Yeah.
Might be worthwhile.
Yeah.
This is a good question. I noticed your office number is your mobile number. How do you manage the phone calls?
Well,
I don't know if manage is the right word.
it's a little bit busy. I mean, most of our inquiry and stuff, unfortunately, comes through via the email and through our what's that one called? What's our main email?
The hello at Havenwood.
Hello at Havenwood, which means Stu will answer the questions. So, of course, people do ring. I'm happy to take the call. It does get very busy. Sometimes now, the only time I won't answer a phone call, if I'm in a meeting with somebody else, like I'm talking to another client, and my phone rings, I don't even look to see who's ringing. Because I'm an old school dinosaur. Now, back in my day,
Settle in, people, settle in.
back in my day, my definition of a mobile phone, right, was the wall-hung phone on the wall, which you had that circle thing you had to press.
That's
You
right.
had to swing it around and dial these numbers, you know. I used to hate it because even as a kid, I was a bit impatient, especially when people had all the nines. They had all the nines in their number, and you had to go, and you had to wait for this thing to wind all the way back in, press 9, all the way back in. It's like, what's that? So my definition of a mobile phone was that upgraded to a 15-metre lead on the hands thing. So we had 15 metres of cord on the phone, so we could walk around the house, like into the lounge room with the phone and chat away on the phone. That was
You were rich if you had a 15-metre cord.
mate, that's my definition of a mobile phone, mate. We were ahead of the game back then.
Yeah.
Just couldn't go outside the house. So it does get busy. I do, in most cases, respond to all of my phone calls. Sometimes it might be 24 hours later, but I'll always return a call, especially, urgent ones. I'll just evaluate it. If it's real urgent, it's a sole issue or this or that, man, I'm on it. I'll always deal with that straight away.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people to be without power, without water, without gas, or whatever the occasion may be. But if it's just a cosmetic issue, we'll definitely, either through Stu or through myself, we'll definitely keep in contact with you.
No, we always try to get back to our customers and clients as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Gab just put a question up saying, what states and or shires are the easiest and or hardest to deal with? So councils, shires.
Yeah. Every council is different, but I think sometimes you really got to, if you can do some homework on the state legislation, okay, so go above their head, because some of the local council officers can take their job a little bit too serious, you know. It's like, fellas, just back off, man. Like, what does the state say? Go to the state legislation first when it talks about caravans, tiny homes, because tiny homes at the end of the day come under the definition of a caravan, which is a relocatable home on a registrable trailer. What that means is, so be armed with the information from your state government first, because they overrule your local government. And once you've got that, you can really start to call the shots, okay? It's just you tell them. They're not telling you. Because I'm sick of the local councils. Like I said, some of these guys, it's a bit of a power trip for them. So you just got to overrule them, talk state government, and that will overpower the local government every day of the week.
And that probably answers Greg, who's a similar question, Greg and Sarah.
Yep, Greg and Sarah, yep.
Because their local council is trying to push maybe a little bit against the New South Wales legislation, so it brings in some confusion. As to,
it's really, and you've got to play hardball with these guys, because it's like, you know what, you guys are down here, state's up here. They overrule you, so I'm going to tell you that I'm going to put a caravan on my property. I'm not going to ask for your permission. I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to put it there because the state government says I can do it. And as long as it's your state, wherever it is, and I know New South Wales state government says you can have on a residential property, you can have one caravan on a residential property. On a rural property, you can have two caravans, especially if a family member is going to live in that caravan permanently. Rules do change a bit, obviously, as soon as you start talking, if you want to do it as a B&B or a rental or a commercial proposition. Okay, I understand that. But if it's family members, it's like, you know what, local government, take a number, because I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. You're not going to tell me what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Just be worded up.
Be worded up, be armed with the info, and you go in strong and hard, man. You'll put them in their tracks, you know.
Yeah. No, good one. Nearly done here. Why do you build the ceiling so high in your single level homes? Now, this was from a question, one of just a customer that came in during the week and had a look in the Tucker's Rest, actually, and looking up at the ceiling, and basically said, what do you build your ceiling so high for? So
yeah, well, we like to, with our single level homes, we want to give that sensation of room and spaciousness, because as soon as you drop your ceiling height too low, it can give that illusion of crampedness, claustrophobic, not enough room. And as soon as you put in that, it's like an optimum ceiling height. Like in our Tucker's Rest model is actually 2.7 high. So it's actually only 300 millimetres higher. Actually, caravans aren't even 2.4. They're less than 2.4. They're probably about 2.2. They're like heaps low. But by going up to the 2.7 in our Tucker's Rest model, it just gives you that space and you don't feel claustrophobic, even though it's only 2.4 wide. But you feel spacious, you feel like you've got plenty of room, and you don't feel claustrophobic, you know. So that's why we like to put the higher ceilings in.
Yeah, okay. Oh, good one. Someone just read on here, Havenwood for council.
Man, I'll give it a go. I reckon, without getting political, of course, I reckon I'd be the Donald Trump of Australia.
Might get some stuff done, though.
Just get in there and just make it happen, mate. Oh, dear, oh, dear. No, I reckon I'd get sacked in 2 seconds. I wouldn't last very long. I mean, truth be known, I don't want to get bogged down in the politics. It's all too hard, man.
No way.
It's like, imagine getting in there, now, like Ma and Pa Kettle down the road, want to do this and that. It's like, oh, man, like, can we just cut through the chase?
Yeah.
Like, if it meets the regulations, why do we even need to put out for neighbour notification? Why tell the neighbours? I mean, if it's legal, if it meets the LEP for what you're trying to do, why are you telling the neighbours for? I think council, when they first brought this out years ago, this is how old I am in building. I remember when they first did it, I thought, man, you guys are just creating a rod for your own back here. Now you're going to tell the neighbours and what this guy can... Hey, it's my property, man. That's my property. If I want to put a DA in, at the end of the day, if it's legal, if it meets all the LEP, why am I telling the neighbours? Mate, when the neighbours are paying my mortgage, they can have a say in what I'm doing. Yeah, what do you reckon, Stu?
I'll do it. Yeah. Rick the Mayor.
I don't think it'll last very long. Tread on too many toes.
Fair enough. All right, last question. I'm a startup builder. Should I build my trailer from steel or aluminium?
Oh, okay. Well, it's even to this day, most of the tiny home builders I've seen around the place build from steel, which is probably just the standard. People build from, a lot of fabricators, trailer builders, they don't work with aluminium, they don't build from aluminium. Sometimes people have this perception that aluminium is actually not as strong as steel. In actual fact, if you go on the Google and do your research, aluminium is stronger than steel. But it comes with a price tag. Okay, it is dearer, it does cost more money, but on a typical, say, 7.2, even by 2.4, by 7.2 trailer, you're going to save somewhere in the order of 300 to 400 kilos of weight. Okay, what that means is you can bling and you can pick your tiny house up another 300 or 400 kilos.
Back to pimping the tiny house.
Oh, pick my tiny house, yeah, absolutely. So I suppose because we switched over to aluminium real early in the piece, I'm an advocate for it. It's lighter, it does cost more, but the added benefit is basically you got a lifetime guarantee on the trailers because it's never going to rust or corrode. You don't have to paint it. It's stronger, it's lighter. It's like, what the... I can't believe to this day, I was actually chatting to Stu before we started about caravans. To this day, Jayco, none of them are doing aluminium trailers. It's like, man, it's like, why not? Yeah, it's funny. It's like farming. Like, oh, here we go. Now I'm showing my age here. Farming. Oh, my granddad did this, and his granddad did this, and his granddad did this. It's like, what the? But if it's not working, if it's dearer and it doesn't work, change. Yeah. Like adapt, upgrade, change to something that actually works. It's going to save you. Save your weight. I mean, you can build bigger caravans, bigger tiny homes. It's lighter, it's stronger. There's so many benefits building from actually aluminium, which is, I can't believe to this day why more people aren't jumping over to that. I mean, it costs more, which we've absorbed into our costs, and we're still competitive in the market. Like our 7.2 by 3 metre homes are still comparative in price to your standard tiny home builder around Australia, 7.2 by 2.4 metre homes.
By 4.3.
And they're only 4.3 high, we're 4.6 high. So we're still comparative in price, we're still competitive, and that's the way, because we started off building the 3 metre homes. So we've really worked out the niche way of getting our homes lighter and more cost effective. You know?
I think there's also some comfort in knowing that the foundation of your house, of your tiny home, is not going to rust out in 8 years' time.
Yeah, I know. I learned this real early in the piece. People who've been following us for a while, they'll know that I've come out of high-rise construction. So, and it's all about the foundation. It's like with your preaching, Stu. It's all about the foundation. Base it on the rock. You know what I mean? It's always got to base on the rock. You know, so. With your tiny homes, you've got to get that foundation right. You get that foundation right, mate, you can just go for broke. Yep. You know, it's no problem at all. You know, so
that's good for our homes.
Yeah, absolutely, Stu. We finished all our questions.
That's all the questions.
Thanks for everyone for jumping on board there tonight, which is awesome. Just one question I wanted to ask you, Stu.
Oh, look out. He didn't work me up on this one.
My question is, how close can you mow the lawn next to a tiny home?
You can mow as close as you want, and it doesn't mean it's not going to cause some sort of damage to your mower, especially if the chains from the drawbar are hanging down onto the grass and your mower blades go straight over the top and get wrapped up in the mower. What did it do to the mower, Rick?
Well, it actually bent the camshaft.
Oh, there we go.
But thank you, my father-in-law, Davo. Thank you, Davo. Mate, he got it in the press. He pulled it all apart. I tried to get a warranty at Bunnings, but Bunnings said, man, your camshaft's bent, bro. I said, you would read about it. Is that right? How would that happen? I said, well, probably because I could see the dent in your mower blades. That obviously hit something very hard, and it just stopped something that was doing 40,000 revs in an instant. And it's just, the camshaft's going 140,000 revs. It's just gone, bam, stop. And it's just gone, whoa, 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 whoa. Anyway, so the short answer is you don't go too close.
Don't go too close.
Don't go too close.
Actually, go close, just to make sure the chains are hanging up on the drawbar.
That's right. Oh, that's great. Well, hey, everyone, thanks so much for joining us this evening. It's been great. Thanks for everyone's involvement. If you've got any questions during the week, make sure you rattle them through to us, and we'll keep plugging along. And
keep going.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
If you got any more questions, give me a buzz tomorrow morning.
Talk to Stu. Uru.
See you guys.